The greatest power you possess is your ability to choose. Join Lowe's Moore as he reveals how you can begin to maximize that power by exploring yourself on the deepest levels and committing to making lasting and positive changes. Get ready to achieve breakthroughs that will lead to accelerated growth and transformation, because you are now tuned in to The Blueprint.
Why the actions contradict the lamb. I'm fellowshipping when I'm with the fam. That's more relations, that's forming a phonic.
Good evening and welcome back to the Blueprint Podcast. It's a little chilly outside, but we're here and I'm excited. Right? I'm really excited. I'm excited for 2024. I'm excited in spite of how cold it is in New York, and how the weather is so crazy throughout the country. But I'm still excited, man. I'm excited to be present tonight, and I want to start out by saying thank you. I do appreciate your support of the Blueprint Podcast. And before I get started tonight, I want to make an announcement. Is it okay I make an announcement? Mm-hmm. Okay, so already know, and I want to thank you for your support again. I can't say it enough. I hope that the Blueprint has been a blessing to you. I hope, for me, I'm hoping that it meets every one of my, my goals for the Blueprint, which is to bring on guests that fit inside of the 7 spheres of influence. These are mind molders, influencers. So I'm hoping, that this is meeting the needs of how powerful a choice is, and how my guests being present on the show, whether in person or online or StreamYard, that they have been able to share their experiences and their stories regarding faith, the importance of faith, the importance of family, and that you could see or learn from some of the experiences that they've had in their lives, but to see how they have overcome those things, or how they have managed those things, and how they have moved on, and how they have grown. I believe that life is a test, right? And life is a trial. But those tests and trials are only to make us better, push us to the place where God wants us to be. So with those things in mind, as we impact the 7 spheres of influence, I want to make an announcement tonight. I'm going to have a few announcements tonight, but the first announcement is that we are streaming live on Lowe's Moore the Blueprint on Facebook, and Lowe's Moore the Blueprint on YouTube. And so a few weeks ago we were talking about how do we transition from 23 to 24. And I had one of my guests on was Philip Reed. And he was talking about the things that he was doing within his network, his media company. And we were just talking about moving forward into 2024. So I want to thank Phil for the opportunity to be able to stream on his network now, which also includes, if we can show that real quick. So the Blueprint Podcast will be streaming on the Phoenix Network, right? And I'm excited about that. The Phoenix National Network. Also a part of the Phoenix National Network is Roku and Fire Stick. So tonight we'll be on all those streaming mechanisms. So that's something exciting in 2024. We've been talking about being able to grow the podcast, and being able to take the next steps so that we can continue to impact our audience and impact a greater audience. So I want to say thank you to Philip Reed, and man, I'm excited about this. And of course, the other announcement is that at least once a month, my lovely wife over there, we're gonna be in a show. We're gonna be on a show once a month together. We're gonna come up with some topics that you guys might enjoy in 2024. So that's exciting news. And then let me say this: 2024 has been really been amazing to start out with, and check this out. I'm excited because I know that people are. I gotta make a confession that everybody, a lot of people probably on the Daniel fast, so they're fasting and doing these different things. Well, I went away for the weekend a couple of weeks ago, and I was on the Daniel fast, but Daniel was too fast. I couldn't catch up with him. He got away from me. I've been trying to catch Daniel ever since. So I haven't been able to catch up with Daniel. My wife has caught up with Daniel. She's still on the Daniel fast. But one thing I was disciplined with in 2024, and I've been excited about it, and I've learned so much, is this 31 days wisdom challenge.
Oh.
31-day wisdom challenge. I have been thrilled. I'm always catching up though. Like I haven't caught up with Daniel, right? I'm still trying to catch up with my days. I didn't start exactly on January the 1st, but I have made progress in catching up. I think I'm like 2 days away. I've got to watch a couple more. I did catch up, and then I fell behind. But man, let me tell you something. The reading through the book of Proverbs has been so inspiring. I've never stopped to.
So you should be at chapter 21 today.
21 today, right? And I think I'm at 20, right? And the reading of Proverbs and the insightfulness and the breaking down of Proverbs, the wisdom in Proverbs, has been very enlightening. And I have learned a lot. And his guests have been amazing and it was 31 days in Proverbs, all 31 chapters, right? And then there was a special, right? You don't have to do the special. 31 days are free, right? But I chose to do the $31, right? I chose to do the $31. And which allowed me to go into after he finished going through that chapter, explaining, and his guests explaining what that chapter, those verses meant, you get a chance to go. You're in a Zoom when you do the 31, and you are allowed to ask questions to him and the guests, which was very nice.
Have you asked a question?
I haven't asked a question. I put stuff in the chat. I haven't caught up enough to ask the question, but I've been sharing it because I think he's been doing it for 5 years now. Right now, 90,000 people are in the challenge.
Wow.
And I'm truly enjoying it. We were driving on a road trip, my wife and I mentioned we were listening to some of that wisdom that day, that verse for that day, that chapter for that day, and my wife said,
"What did I say?"
You said, "Man, in February we ought to do a 29-day love challenge."
I did that?
Yeah.
I said that?
And I was like, I don't know. But it got stuck in my spirit, right? And I just couldn't get rid of it. And so we're here tonight, right? We're going to talk about this 29-day love challenge.
Oh.
Yeah, 29 days love challenge for the month of February.
Okay.
Right? So we're going to talk about that. So before we start talking about it, I want to give my book of the week. It is a integral part of why I was inspired after my wife mentioned it and why I was inspired to go forward with it. I don't know how it's going to turn out. We're still trying to figure it out, but we're going to do it. Like Nike said, just do it. We're going to just do it because I just think that we're in 2024. If we get off right, we're getting off right with the Daniel fast. My wife's getting off, and all you guys out there, kudos. Your guys that's still in the Daniel fast and sharing meals and all that kind of stuff like that. Man, I don't have any meals to share that didn't have chicken or steak or anything in it. So I've been trying, but I can say this. I tried to stay away from definitely the processed foods and the fast foods and all that kind of stuff like that. So I've been on the straight and narrow regarding that, right? But Daniel was too fast. I couldn't catch up with him. So, so let's get rolling with my book of the week, and is an integral part of the 29 days love challenge. Yeah. So the book of the week is something that I haven't watched Joyce Myers in years, but I don't know, 20 years ago, I watched Joyce Myers every morning for about 20 years. I mean, I just thought that when it came on the morning, it inspired me to watch Joyce Myers, and a lot of her messages was so practical, right, and so powerful. But this love revolution, I've never got it got in my heart and has never gotten out. I mean, it was a series that went for about a month, and I watched every single one of them. And I actually kept the videos of every single one. Every day I would, put the discussion, and then I would put the video, and I kept it in my notes. Now, and then when I went back to them, everything was still there, but you can't get the videos. The topics of the day was still there. So it inspired me that I actually probably wrote about 15 pastors. I wrote a letter about why they should start, including Pastor Moore over at the time at Centennial. Most of the pastors that I knew, I sent this letter on why we should launch a love revolution. I just felt like it was so impactful, right? It was so impactful that, I think that this is going to be, if we are going to change the situations that we see in the world today, I think love is the remnant, right? I think love is our most powerful tool, right? And because God is love, love is powerful.
Yes.
Right? So it's an action word. So it causes for you to do something. And if you get a chance, get this book. Right, and we're going to talk a lot about it throughout the month of February, but and then we're going to hear some things on Joyce Myers, today on that. Matter of fact, I got two quick videos I want to show you why I got the book up. Oh. Right, two quick videos. Let's see here. We're going to get that up for you real quick. Let me see. I was going to show you two quick videos, but I want you guys to listen to something. It's not a video, but I want you to listen to something. It's going to take about 5 minutes, but I just think that when Joyce wrote this book, when you hear the introduction, just a brief part of the introduction, you could see why I got so caught up on it and why I believe, right, that as we move forward in this society, in this world, if we want to change our community, if we want to change our society, if we want to change our nation, if we want to change this world, it's going to come down to love.
Understood.
Right, and not our what we think love is, but what the love of God truly is. So, listen to this, this right there. Listen to it. It's an introduction to the book. It's going to be about 5 minutes, but it's so powerful.
You
right?
want to do the whole 5 minutes?
Yeah, you can. I mean,
okay. Thank you.
And
Hachette Audio presents The Love Revolution. Written by Joyce Meyer. Read by Sandra McCullum.
Introduction. Revolution. The word itself sparks hope, ignites passion, and inspires loyalty like no other word in the human vocabulary. Throughout history, the idea of a revolution has poured fuel on firebrands and injected courage in the faint-hearted. Revolutions have rallied those in search of a cause larger than themselves and have given previously aimless men and women a cause they were willing to die for. They have birthed great leaders and bred great followers. They have literally changed the world. A revolution is a sudden, radical, and complete change from the way things are normally done. Revolutions are usually ignited by one person or a very small group of people who are unwilling to continue living the way they have lived in the past. They believe something can and must change, and they keep promoting their ideas until a groundswell begins and ultimately changes the situation, often in radical ways. The world has experienced revolutions in the past, as governments known to be taking advantage of their citizens were overthrown. This happened in the American Revolution, the French Revolution, and the Russian Revolution, also called the Bolshevik Revolution, to name a few. Revolutions also took place as outdated, ineffective systems or ways of doing things were replaced, and as old ways of thinking gave way to new ideas, such as took place in the Scientific Revolution or the Industrial Revolution. Thomas Jefferson said, "Every generation needs a new revolution, and I believe now is the time for the world's next revolution, the greatest revolution of all. We don't need the same kinds of revolutions that have dotted the landscape of world history in the generations before us. We don't need a revolution based on politics, economies, or technology. We need a love revolution. We need to overthrow the dominance of selfish, self-centered living in our lives. Nothing will change in our world unless each one of us is willing to change. We often wish the world would change without stopping to realize that the condition of the world is the result of the way we live our individual lives and of the choices we make every day. If every person on the planet knew how to receive and give love, our world would be a radically different place. I think we all know something is wrong in society and that it needs to be fixed, but nobody seems to know what to do or how to begin making changes. Our reaction to a world out of control is to complain and think, someone should do something. We think and say that perhaps God or the government or someone else in authority needs to take action. But the truth is, each one of us has to do something. We must learn to live life from a totally different viewpoint than we have had. We must be willing to learn, to change, and to admit that we are part of the problem. We cannot fix what we don't understand, so our first need is to locate the root of the problem. Why are the majority of people unhappy? Why is there so much violence in families, neighborhoods, cities, and nations? Why are people so angry? You may be thinking these things happen because of sin. You may say, people are sinful, that is the problem. I agree in theory, but would like to approach the problem from a practical viewpoint that we all deal with daily. I firmly believe the root of all these issues and many others is selfishness. Selfishness is, of course, the outworking of sin. It is a person saying, I want what I want, and I am going to do whatever I need to do to get it. Sin exists whenever a person goes against God and His ways. We tend to live backward, exactly opposite of the way we should live. We live for ourselves, and yet we never seem to end up with what satisfies us. We should live for others and learn the wonderful secret that what we give away comes back to us multiplied many times over. I like the way a famous doctor named Luke put it. Give away your life. You'll find life given back. But not merely given back with bonus and blessing. Giving, not getting, is the way. Generosity begets generosity. Luke chapter 6, verse 38, the Message. In many societies,
You can't, you can't deny that. That we need a love revolution, man. We need it. We definitely need
I like
it.
when she said Dr. Luke.
Dr. Luke said. Yeah,
She said,
I like
Dr.
that.
Luke said.
Yeah, and if you think what she said was not necessarily that sin was the problem. The key word was selfishness is the problem, right? And so let's journey on to the word of the week.
Okay.
Right.
What you got for me, word of the week?
The word of the week is revolution.
Do you want a revolution?
We need a love revolution, and then she broke down the love revolution, so powerfully. And then the next word, I got two words. The next one right after that is the word, you got revolution and then manifest.
Manifest.
Right? You gotta, you could talk about a revolution, but if you can't manifest it, right? You gotta manifest the revolution. We can't talk about this, right? Everybody's talking about, oh no, we need to love more. No, yeah, we need to manifest love. We need to stop talking about it and we need to do it. Right? So we need to manifest.
So it says to allow and trust the universe will bring all that you wish and desire. The universe. A lot of people talk about the universe. How about God?
Yeah. Well, God, first of all, God is the universe. Right? And if God exists in you, so does the universe. Right?
Okay.
That's deep all by itself. Yeah. And then here's the...
You want an offering?
Yeah, I could use one.
I think I can give you that.
Yeah. So,
you know what you forgot to do today?
what's that?
Look.
I forgot to drop my pebble into the pond. Man, it's going to be a ripple effect off this one. It ain't going to take a long time for this ripple effect. But let's jump to our Hill and Pierce Hopper affirmation moment.
Okay.
Right? This is from Dr. quotes from Dr. Martin Luther King.
Can I read it?
Yeah, you can read it.
Okay, good. It says, love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into friend. I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word in reality. We must develop and maintain the capacity to forgive.
I like that.
That's Martin Luther King
Dr. Martin
Jr.
Luther King Jr.
Quote on love.
Yeah.
So the capacity to forgive.
Yeah. And Dr.
Let
King.
me just go over that, because there was a thing. It says, I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word in reality.
Right. So that's a prophecy.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a prophecy. The love.
Unconditional.
God wins in the end.
Right.
Yeah. That's a prophecy. So let's move on to our music and movie of the week. Walter Hawkins had a song about love and Love Alive. You remember the name of the song?
Mm-mm.
You you don't know
Which Love Alive?
the first one, Love Alive album. I got the album in my phone, right? It's called I Love You, Lord. I Love the Lord.
Oh.
Right? Remember that? I Love the Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Walter Hawkins, he had many songs. Follow Me, Jesus, I Love You, I Love the Lord, and everybody remembers A Change. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I Won't Be Satisfied. Right? We know that. And then my movie of the week,
Yes.
in my one of my top 5 all-time favorite movies, is To Sir with Love.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't get a chance to see that, man, it's all about love, right? How, I think it was London, England, Sidney Poitier was a teacher, a black teacher in an all-white school, right? And those kids over there were just tyrants, right? But Sidney used love.
Excuse me.
Right? Sidney used love to transform the school. Not only his class got transformed, but he transformed a whole school and faculty.
Yes.
Yeah, but very powerful, man. Love is powerful, man.
Sidney was one amazing actor.
Oh yeah.
And he, as a Love Revolution, he also did Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, and that was about love too.
Yeah, it was about love, and then and diversity.
Yes.
And we're always talking about diversity today, and man, I'm sure people was shocked when the young lady brought home Sidney Poitier.
Well, I guess the question then becomes, I wonder how many young people today have actually seen those types of movies. Those movies really impacted generations, because they did things that nobody really talked about.
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, and I would love to hear some comments as we move forward in this, about what we're talking about. When we're talking about love, is it a remnant? Do you think that love will make a difference? We also know that, Dr. King's method was a non-violent, like Mahatma Gandhi used non-violent acts to transform India, right? And Dr. King took it and brought it to America, and non-violence was one of the major keys to the civil rights movement, right? And so I believe that in this time,
I think Mother Teresa was also in that.
Yeah, Mother Teresa was possible. Yeah, because she walked in love.
She walked in love.
Yeah, she walked in love.
A lot of people today don't know those individuals, but people are standing upon their shoulders. Mother Teresa they actually made her a saint because she went into the trenches, and so I absolutely, there are people that really just walked in love, like love just poured out of their pores as just in everything that they did. So pretty awesome.
And if you could show, I think on there is the promo for this particular show, right? If you can show the promo real quick for tonight's show. Okay. I think it's in the beginning. No, no. Just go back. It's a
the picture.
It's a flyer. Yeah, just a picture. It's just a flyer of it. Yeah, right at the top, the very top.
Right here.
Yeah, right there. See, if you see, it says, the first annual 29 Days Love Challenge, February 2024, the Love Revolution, Acts of Kindness, right? Because we're looking at, oh man, something's gonna explode on the scene, right? Something's gonna explode on the scene. No, it's gonna be random acts of kindness. All right, and we're talking about acts of kindness, right? And we're talking about in manifestation, how do we manifest right? I may be jumping ahead of myself. How do we manifest love? Right? And so, you know, how many, I want to know from people out there, how many people agree with us that love is a remnant and love is a solution, right? And so let's jump to our person of the week, which is
Let me see. Go down. Person of the week. Joyce.
Joyce Myers.
Meyer.
Yeah, our person of the
Meyer.
week is Joyce Meyer, right? She's the person of the week. And let me tell you why. I got to share this story with you, right? My youngest son Isaiah, was born with spina bifida, right? But Isaiah had become a good student and a very good wheelchair basketball player, and so he was being recruited by a number of schools. And so Patrice and I took a trip to Missouri because they were recruiting Isaiah, right? And so we went on the trip. We saw the school. Isaiah loved the school. We loved the school. It had everything that he needed in terms of, for him to be a successful student. We decided on our way home, rather than to stay in Missouri another night and just drive up in the morning, we decided we were going to leave Missouri, right? And we were going to drive up to St. Louis, right? And we're going to, because we got the car to rent a car from the airport, and we got into a hotel in the airport area, and we drove up early that evening, and we were in the hotel. And I was like, I saw the arch. I don't know if you've been in St. Louis. One of the main attractions is that arch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that giant arch. So we drove by that and we went to the hotel. We got in the hotel and we were hungry. And so it was this famous restaurant. I guess Oprah said something about it. What is
Sweetie Pies?
Sweetie Pies or something like that. And we was like, oh man, Sweetie Pies is here. Put it in the GPS. Let's go to Sweetie Pies. And then in the midst of it, I started talking about Joyce Myers and the Dream Center.
Yeah.
Right? I used to hear Joyce Meyer talk about the Dream Center. You know how you hear ministers on television saying they doing this, they go here, they do that, but you never went to the place to see whether or not that really existed or not. So we were in St. Louis driving to Sweetie Pies, and we decided we were going to go to the Dream Center, right, in St. Louis. And we were literally driving blocks down blocks down blocks. I mean, 15, 20, 25, 30 blocks in St. Louis. It would happen to be Martin Luther King. I don't know why.
Boulevard.
Yeah, I don't know why they take, well, I kind of know why, but Dr. Martin Luther King, I guess you give hope, to the hopeless, when you drive down. But every house, every apartment was abandoned and boarded up. So Tree started going like, Lowe's, I ain't getting out the car.
No, I'm not.
People standing on the corner, and we just driving. We're driving deeper and deeper into St. Louis, and everything is boarded up.
Matter of fact, not only did I said I wasn't getting out the car, I distinctly remember telling you, don't stop at the stoplights, don't stop at the stop sign, just keep going, because if anybody came up to the car, that was going to be one day that I wasn't it was so seedy, the particular area, and it was scary. It was not just seedy, it was scary. There was just, and then out of nowhere,
an oasis showed up.
Yeah,
called the Dream Center, and there it was. Joyce Myers Dream Center in the midst of it. I was like, wow. I was like, wow, yeah, it's for real. And Joyce was doing major work and still doing major work in St. Louis in the Dream Center, and also created, along with some other partners, a Dream Center in one of the worst places of Los Angeles, California. I mean, it was real, y'all. It was real. I mean, she was doing work worked there, and so before we go on, Joyce Myers is our person of the week, man, and yeah.
Before the show's
awesome.
off, I'm gonna show them a picture of the Dream Center. But for right now, yeah.
Yeah, I think we got a couple of birthdays before we continue.
Oh, sure we do.
Yeah, we got a couple of birthdays.
Happy birthday,
Yeah.
Raylan.
Oh, Raylan, happy birthday to you, 11. Woo! I remember when she was a little girl and I was going, give me a hug.
I really wanted to show that video today.
Give me a hug.
I did. I wanted to show
Yeah, now
that
she's
video.
11 years old, and
Okay.
every time I would say it, she'd give me a hug. Right?
Now she's too grown to give hugs.
Yeah. But no, last time I was down there, first thing she did when she came in was give me a hug. Happy birthday,
Raylan.
Yeah.
She's so beautiful. And
Ooh, hey.
happy birthday, Kayla. That's my little.
Man,
That's my niece.
I remember Kayla too, man. I remember in elementary school we went to see her in a play. Yep, and Kayla was more. Now she done graduated from college.
Yes, I think she has a master's degree. She's an. We need to get her on the show.
Yeah, I
is
already
an
told
artist.
her she's an artist, and we need to have her on the show.
Yeah, we definitely have to bring her on because, she's eccentric. With her art, she makes art out of anything.
Right.
And so you just want to, when you really want to see these kids thrive in the gifting that they have. So, shout out to Kayla, shout out to Raylan on their birthdays. Truly, God is blessing them, and we're grateful that they are our nieces, and so we thank God for them.
Yeah. Love will always defeat hate.
Yes, it will.
Yeah, yes it does.
Yep.
Yes it does. And then in today's world, love is seen as a weakness. Mm-hmm. Right? Love is what keeps the world together today. That's my guest from last week. My man Gary McIntosh in the house.
Gary Mack.
Yeah, Gary Mack's in the house, man. Yeah, love is amazing. And let me show you.
This is the Dream Center.
That's the Dream Center, right? And while we're showing that, I have a video of the Dream Center. So there's a video down there. I'm going to show you this video. And these types of things could be done in your neighborhood too. You don't need a big place. Mm-hmm. You just need a place. You just need to make up your mind you're going to do something, right? You're going to show love, and before you show it, I was telling my wife the other day as we were talking about this. We were driving and talking about love, and we were talking about these acts of love. I remember one day, the weather was bad, kind of funky like it is right now. But it was doing some little sleet and snowing and different things like that. And I happened to be driving down in Mount Vernon, the Sanford Boulevard Memorial Field, and I'm going in the opposite direction of Mount Vernon, and my youngest son Isaiah is sitting in the back seat, and I see an older lady pushing a push cart.
Right.
And I was like, wow, man, it's weather's kind of crazy out there. So I stopped my car, put on my flashers, and I backed up. And I asked her if I could take her somewhere. Mm. And she's like, she would, your stranger stops.
Right.
And want to put you in the car.
Yeah,
right? Anything
hesitant.
can happen,
Mm-hmm.
But I guess she's probably saw Isaiah in the back, and she was like, "Oh, there's a kid in the back," and she said, "Okay, I'm going to the laundromat." Right, right. I'm going to the laundromat, and so I picked her up. Turn my car, turn my car around. I took her to the laundromat, put the stuff in the car, took her to the laundromat, took the stuff out the car, help her get in. Right, and so then when I said, "Yeah, it's just my pleasure," and I drove off, and Isaiah said, "Hey, Dad, why'd you do that?" Right, and I said, "Well, she needed a ride. The weather was bad." And even if the weather
That's
wasn't
how we got
bad,
our godson.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. I got a godson. I got my godson like that. Somebody in a snowstorm, waiting for a bus that probably wasn't going to come. I mean, it's late at night, and I picked her up and helped her get from one town to the other town as she was waiting for a bus. and she was pregnant, had two other kids with her, and I took her home. And from that point, somewhere down the line, we became the godparent of our unborn child. Right? Yeah. So love is random acts of violence. Kindness, not acts of violence. Woo.
Well, you know what? Random acts. Let me just, before we go into the dream center, I'll tell mine. I remember, and I'm going to probably sneeze in a second. Excuse me, because I feel it coming.
God bless you.
Excuse me.
God bless you.
I remember there was a lady who needed food, and she was, excuse me, I don't know if she was at McDonald's. She was somewhere, I remember. And I didn't give her the food. I didn't do something, right? And Losey was in the car with me, and he had a meltdown. How could you not make sure that she's hungry, Mommy? You need to feed her. Like, no, actually, I think she was in Mount Vernon, where what is that? Genevieve's was. I think it was called Genevieve's back then.
Back then, yeah.
And she was out in the parking lot over there, and she wanted some food, and I left, and Losey was crying so hard. I went to McDonald's, and I came back with a whole thing of food for her, and she took my hand and she kissed my hand, and she was like, thank you so much, thank you so much. And Losey was just like, he was so blown away by that act, and I think it impacted him. Like, he was excited, and he loved that moment so much. And I think many years later, she was actually killed in the building on 70s. These kids had done something to her, and I remember telling him, and he was so upset because his heart was so full of love and wanting to be a blessing to somebody. And so it's great to know that you feel that way, but when your kids take that on, man, that's powerful, man.
Yeah, and I'll give you one more before we show this. I was in seminary down. I used to lead the Boys and Girls Club. You remember I was in seminary, and I used to go down, man, and it was cold. But I was making adjustments going down there by Madison Square Garden, and I'm walking fast, like Grand Central Station, walking down all the way down 8th Avenue down to 34th Street, and at the New Yorker, the seminary was in the New Yorker, and every time I was down there, everybody was always, I'm hungry. Could you give me some money for some food? And I didn't want to really give them money so that they would go
and do the wrong thing with it.
Yeah, go buy alcohol or something like that. So I started buying McDonald's gift cards. I started buying McDonald's gift cards, Subway's gift card, Dunkin' Donuts gift card. And when I was down there and they asked me, I would give them a gift card, right? And I said, here's a gift card. $5 is on it, $10 is on it, whatever is on it, and you can get you something to eat. And people were very thankful for those things, So when we're talking about this love revolution, we're not there. There may be people out there who can do large things because they have the resources to do it, right? And there's going to be people out there who can only do small things. Well, small things, right? Like the dropping of that pebble in a pond, there's a ripple effect. If enough of us do small things, if enough of us show love, right, it becomes a habit, right? Absolutely. And when it becomes a habit, it's like a snowball building. We already have a snowball, right? All the hell that's going on in society, all the things that are going on in society was a small snowball that rolled down the mountain and got bigger, right? So love is like that. You started doing that snowball, and you started doing little random acts of kindness, and you keep doing them over and over and over again, not because you want something from it, not because you want somebody to recognize you, right? Not because of that. You're doing it because you know that it's going to serve or to help somebody.
Absolutely.
Right? So let's check out this dream center. Right, somebody might get an idea and want to do a dream center here.
Absolutely. And I love the fact that it's called Dream Center. Here it is.
Do you even realize that God does think about you? Actually, God thinks about us all the time. And this is so wonderful. Never one time in your life has God ever had one bad thought about you. He thinks about our potential. God is the chief of all dreamers, and he has a dream for you.
I mean, Dream Center, what a great name for a church. God has a dream for your life. I believe it just really epitomizes who we are. You know, in a city such as ours that's going through so many challenges, what better place to give people that hope that, you know what, no matter how bad it's been, there is still a dream in store for your life, and it's in reach. We're going after a multicultural church that can do multifaceted things in this community to help. And we try to make sure that we have something in place for everyone, from our youth ministries and children's ministries to our life groups that help facilitate doing life together. Our history is one of connecting with the community, you know, making people's lives better and giving them an opportunity not just to have a hand out, but a hand up.
I'm working and my schedule's pretty tight, and I don't always be able to give my kids a nice meal. It's a humbling experience, but Dream Center supplies it. They don't talk about it, they do it. It's not there just for people not working and, you know, homeless and this and that. It's for people that really needs help. They're bringing people in that normally would not even think about going to church, which is a good thing.
We fight to empower people who may have never felt empowered in their whole life to do anything significant. One of the greatest ways we invest in individuals is our Genesis Men's Home, where we roughly have probably about 45 men that were once homeless, drug addicted, alcoholics, and we bring them in for a year-long process where we pour into their lives and they get a chance to come in and get their lives together.
I'm a good man today, and it's because of Christ. You know what I'm saying? I've through his word and through getting to know him and through the people he's put in my life, I've realized what it means to be a good man.
You know, I found out that I had gifts and a purpose, that my identity was in Christ, and that's what changed.
My hope is just people know that God will not only restore your family, but he will restore every aspect of your life.
And so with our outreaches, now we point to giving them an opportunity to be a part of the discipleship process. Now, what is a disciple? A disciple is a fully devoted follower of Jesus Christ. That there's someone who is committed their life to a lifelong process of being more like Jesus. So our role as the church is to give them the resources, the encouragement, and the opportunity to live that devotion out in real life.
What drew me here was just the love of God and being at a place where I was broken and I looked for so much just to help me come back around again and help me find myself and to find who God said I was, not who the world said I was. God is just building me up as a woman of God and being able to pour into me and I can give it back to others.
Our dreams are tied to other people's dreams. And when someone comes along and says, hey, I was there, this is what my life was like before Christ came in. What you do is you create an avenue of hope for that person because they see you as real. And that's the beauty of anyone who volunteers and sows their time into other people. Your story is what makes a difference.
The reason that we're here is we're spending our spring break, going on a mission trip to serve the St. Louis Dream Center.
1, 2, 3, Highlands!
The people in these communities already recognize St. Louis Dream Center as a place of hope. And so when we come, now we're carrying that name and that banner and saying, hey, we're on their team, one team as a body in Christ, and we're here to serve you. How can we help you see that, there's hope, that the dreams that you have, the things that you're trying to aspire to be, that with God, anything's possible.
I know that there's work to do, but I'm hopeful. I feel hopeful when I drive through the city because I can see God's hand and how God could change the city and make it beautiful again. I see lives of people who were once living one way and are now living a different way. A single mom who had no hope, and now she's going back to school because she wants to show her kids that there's something more to life than what they've once lived. This person who was once a drug dealer, and now he's volunteering in our DC cafe, and he's talking to the drug dealers about how futile that life is. That's what you have an opportunity to be a part of when you come and partner with us through your resources or your time. For every person that comes through our doors, I want them to be set up in such a way where they can make a difference in someone else's life and join us in the fight to make this community livable again. Where our kids can play on the streets safely, and family would be the key cornerstone of this community once again. That's our dream.
Wow.
That's the Dream Center right there.
Yeah, that's the Dream Center. I hope that, seeing that, sparks something inside of you. And,
I love what Mike said. Did you see Mike's comment?
Yeah, let me see. What's Mike?
Mike's comment, he said that the Boys and Girls Club was our Dream Center.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I agree with Mike on that. And you know what? Let me I don't want to miss anybody because I don't even know the name of the church, but there's a church on Sanford Boulevard in between, I think it is 5th Avenue and 4th Avenue. They give out food.
Yeah, well, there used to be one on the corner of 5th and Sanford. They used to give out food all the time.
Right, but they give out food all the time, all year round. Mm-hmm. The food pantry.
Yeah,
right.
Caitlin Gleason runs that.
Yeah, the food pantry in Mount Vernon, Grace Baptist Church, Centennial. I mean, there's so many churches and ministry doing so many things, right? The thing is, you got to be able to have something all year round. People are hurting all year round, and the question is, what kind act? Because there's random acts. All of a sudden you see something, that's a random act. When somebody asks you something, right? Like that person asked you for some food, right? That's random. You didn't plan that, right? But there are acts of kindness that you can plan. You can plan to do something, right? And then during the month of February, we're going to make some suggestions. I don't know if you have some suggestions out there, about what kind acts you could do, because what we want to be able to do as we go into the month of February, the month of love, right? And I know we did so many kind acts when we were at the Peacekeepers. We went to stand on the corner, but we ended up cleaning, picking up papers. We ended up providing food for people, right? There's so much you can do. The Dole Center is giving out.
This is the 400 block of
400 block, 9th Avenue.
They give out food.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just telling you, there's so much that's being done, but there's so much more that needs to be done. And I think acts of kindness. When I was a little kid, right, and we're afraid to do this today. You know, young kids walking down the street and they're saying something or doing something they're not supposed to do. When those men used to stop, look, hey, don't do that, son. Right? When you stop, like you jumped out your car, right?
I've jumped out my car a few times to stop people fighting in the street. I don't know what's wrong with me, but
yeah, but
I do that. I saw a kid getting hit with a crowbar. They had taken a crowbar off of that you take for the to turn for the car, and these kids were beating this kid up with a crowbar, and I was driving, and I wasn't one of those people to drive by. I actually drove like I was going to run the kids over to get them to separate, and then I got the kid safely into a place so that he wouldn't be beaten up anymore. So yeah, because you have to just trust that the Holy Spirit, to me, is going to protect and guide. I pulled my car over in the middle of a riot of kids, and this is when I was coaching basketball at Mount Vernon High School, and I jumped out my car and left my keys in the car, left the car running to break up the fight. Somebody could have jumped in my car and took my car, but they saw me coming, and they were like, that's Coach Moore. So it was like the Red Sea parted, But what I wasn't going to do was allow them to continue to do what they were doing. And, because I loved my kids and my community enough to not run away, but to run towards, to provide whatever help and love I can.
Yeah, I mean, it's, and so when we're talking about this in terms of, kind acts, we got to remember, I mean, I got some pictures up there that God is love.
Yeah.
Right? And so when we show love, we show God. Right? I mean, the first thing God requires of us, because I think the scripture says, God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. He loved the world and gave, and gave his son. Right? An act of love. And so when we think about love, particularly love from the standpoint of, one of my favorite scriptures, I think I got part of it on me now, is now here is, I can't see.
And now these three remain:
faith,
hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love.
Is love.
That's 1 Corinthians 13.
Right? And if you read for me, babe, I think I put the scripture up there where it says up at the top, right there is
right here,
one below. Yeah, that's some of the other things, but go to that one the other one first. The
one above it.
That's right. Yeah, right there. See what it says.
Love is patient. Love is kind. Love, it does not envy. Love, it does not boast. Love, it is not proud. It is not rude. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. It does not delight in evil. It rejoices with the truth. It always protects. It always trusts. It always hopes. It always perseveres. Love never fails.
Right. And that's what we're talking about in this month of February. As we go into the month of February, we want to manifest these things, right? We want to look at these things, these words, and we want to go put them back up there again.
Sure.
Right. Like we want to be patient. Right? We want to be patient. We want everything now. Right? And we don't care who we step on to get it.
Wow.
Right? And we're not patient enough to wait. Right? And love is kind. It does not envy. I mean, we get mad over other people's success.
But that's not love.
Yeah, it's not love. Hey, if that person was able to achieve some amount of success, right, then it's a guide to show that you can achieve that too. So if you become happy and excited and celebrate the person who had the success, right? Because they're the blueprint by which you can have that success,
Right.
right? So there's no need to be jealous or envious of anybody.
I always tell people there's always an overflow, right?
Mhm.
If that person is successful and I'm cheering them and blessing them, there is an overflow. I'm not doing it for the overflow, but there's an overflow. And I was talking to my friend Marcia today, and we would, she was talking about, she was talking about the service today. And I said, Marcia, I can always count on you to be like that cheerleader, like that person that's going to cheer me on. But equally, I cheer her on. I said, we just have this thing about it that we're going to push each other in love. We're going to support each other in love. And I'm grateful that I have friends like, Leslie's like that, right? She goes, I just love you. I'm just, we just have such a love, and I'm so grateful. My sister, love. It's just, Dee Dee's just love. Our family is like that. I think that's what made us have such a long-lasting marriage, right? Because there was complete love, unconditionally on both sides.
Yes.
Right, because I love your family. I love your mom. I love your aunties. They're my aunties. I love your cousins. I love your brothers and sisters and the nieces and nephews. Oh my goodness, they just tickle my heart,
Right.
And that's exactly how you love my family, like
That's
right.
right.
And
Yeah,
so it is our family. So we don't look at it really separate, like it's your family, my family. It's our family, and
Right.
so we're excited. But because when we joined as a couple into our families, because we had a good love in our families, it was easy for us to bring that together as a family.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And if I could give you, if you want to start manifesting love, right? If you want to start early, before we get to February, you can start loving before you get to February, right? You can start doing it. If you want to do random acts of violence,
What?
I don't know why I'm stuck on violence. Random acts.
You're making me nervous.
Random acts of kindness or acts of kindness. Check this out. The easiest place to start is in family.
Yeah.
The easiest place to start is home. Right? If you got some ought against your brothers and sisters, right? Your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, you haven't spoken to them in a minute, right? Because you mad at them because they said something to you, right? The easiest place to start your acts of kindness is to either go see them, get on a call, right? And call them up and apologize or go just spend time with them. If you want to start your acts of kindness now, right? Start at home. Start
Amen.
with your family.
Amen.
Right? Because you can't go out and talk about love and show love to somebody else that you won't show to your family.
That's true.
Right? I mean, start at home.
That's
right? Apologize for something. I mean, and if you have older family members, seasoned, wisdom, family, and they live alone or you don't call them, right? Started making calls. As simple as make a call to your grandmother, make a call to your aunt, go visit them, right? Start at home with your acts of kindness.
Absolutely. Acts of kindness. You got it that time. Yeah.
No, because I've seen and heard so many acts, random acts of violence. It's innate. You just keep thinking about that. You see that's what we see all the time. Instead of random acts of violence, we need to have random acts of love and kindness.
Of kindness, yeah. Some people have called it like pay it forward.
Yeah.
I've heard it used like that. I cannot tell you how many times when I was working up in Albany, how I would do that. I would get to the line to pay for my food at somewhere, and I would pay for the person's food behind me, and then and they would say thank you. But let me tell you one of my greatest love stories, my love acts of kindness. This is a great one, and I'm gonna tell you how much I absolutely love doing this. So last year on Valentine's Day, I was working upstate and I wasn't with you. Broke my heart because we're always together for Valentine's Day, doing whatever, going out and just having a good time. And last year for Valentine's Day, I was working upstate. And I was all by myself. I had just finished working a long day, and I was sitting at this restaurant. And as I sat at this restaurant, I was actually at Friendly's, and I was eating one of my favorite salads, and there was a couple in the booth in front of me, and they had a little baby, and they were so attentive to the baby, and he was trying to take the baby while she ate, she took the baby while he ate, and they were just giggling and holding hands and stuff like that. And so when it was my time, because I was alone, when it was my time to get my food, I asked the server to give me their check. And the server gave me the check, and on the back of the check I wrote, I'm in my 40th year of with my husband. I absolutely love him, and I'm not with him on this Valentine's Day because I'm working away. And I said, but watching the two of you hold hands and give little kisses and stuff like that just warmed my heart. And I just wanted to tell you how much of a blessing it was to watch you in love. And I pray that your love pray that your love lasts forever. Take care of it. And I gave them all this advice. I wrote this on this really long wrist on the seat. I wrote little, and I told the waiter, the server, for me to wait for me to leave, because I didn't want them to say anything. I just wanted to give it to them. And so as I walked out, I handed I signed everything, and the server gave them the receipt when she saw me leave. And I don't have any idea if it impacted them ever. I don't know. I'm sure it did. I'm sure they probably were blown away that I had paid for their dinner, and then I left. And they probably were like, wow. But for me, it just made me feel good because I watched them, and it made me realize, because I wasn't with you, and it was it made my Valentine's Day even better because I was able to do that for this young couple who were eating dinner on Valentine's Day. Yeah. That was a random act of kindness.
Random act of kindness. And I love my son-in-law, Steve. Every time he's at Dunkin' Donuts, right? Every time at Dunkin' Donuts, he goes to Dunkin' Donuts, he always pays for the person behind him. Right? He always pays for the person behind them at Dunkin' Donuts. And then my good friend Joey Holland in Charleston, West Virginia, every time he's at the gas station, right, he always pays for the person's gas. And
let me tell you,
behind them.
Gas is a lot of money.
Well, he got a little bit of money.
He got some money.
he got
I'm gonna make sure if I find Joey, I'm gonna drive right up behind him and say, "Oh,
right?
yeah, my gas."
Yeah. I mean, he owns 4, 5, 6 car dealerships in Charleston, West Virginia. He got a little money, but
you had him on the show.
I had him on the show, and the crazy thing, I went to church with Joey. Right, and we playing all these 3-on-3 tournaments together, basketball tournaments together, and you know what? Joey owns 6 or 7. I said 5, 6 or 7 car dealerships. They all have his name on it. Joey Hollins Chrysler, Joey Hollins, whatever. He got all these car dealerships. And you know what amazed me? I went to church with Joey and his family. And you know where Joey was in the church?
What?
He was an usher. he was welcoming people in the church, saying hello to them, talking about how much he loved them. Yeah, he was a doorkeeper.
Yeah, he was such a bubbly guy. Yeah. There's some people in this world that you just know. I always laugh because the young lady that works for me, Thais, right? So Thais has she's this person that every morning when we get on the call, she's like, "Happy Monday, Happy Wednesday." It's like, and she's like so bubbly, and people are like, but when she finishes doing that, you know, she's like, "Oh, what's the matter? You don't want to say happy back? What's the matter? You want happy Monday back?" You know, and so she's got everybody, but she brings so much love into the room that you can't help it. You can't help it, but you know, let it flow through you. You know, but she is equally like, she'll cry on a dime now. Like you tell her a story, like if I had told her that story about about paying the food in the restaurant, she would be like, "You got me over here crying." Like she's just, you know, she's got it all in her. But I love people like that because, you know what, you need people. I remember I was in high school, and I want to say I was in 10th grade. And I was like that. I came in, I was like, "Hi everybody." I was smiling, and this girl said to me, "Smile one more time, I'm gonna punch you in your face." I was like this. I was so scared of her. She was bigger than me, and she was a senior, and I was a sophomore. And she was like, "Smile one more time. Well, smile, I'll punch you right in your mouth." I was like, ooh. I was so she just disrupted my entire spirit. I would come into class like this, like I was so scared of her. Somewhere down the line, we became friends, right? And she was like, you know, she would come in and see me, but it took a while. And I realized one of the reasons why she didn't like me smiling is because she was failing, right? And I was an A student. So me smiling irritated her. So I started studying with her, right? So she passed, right? All of a sudden, we were friends. There was no more like, "You can't smile." Now she's smiling because she ain't failing anymore. Right. I didn't know she was failing. I'm just a smiling because I'm like, "Hi, everybody," you know, like everything it came easy to me, you know, so I had to, you know, help her along to get it to the next level. But boy, she had my smile choked. It just went like this. My smile went right off my face. I was so scared.
Oh man, let me say this to you. What happens when you know, there is when you want to talk about changing an environment, right? When you want to talk about changing a frequency, when you want to talk about changing a vibration, right? When you do these things, when you show kindness, right? When you show love, right? It shifts the atmosphere.
Yes.
Right? I mean, it changes things. When you do these random acts, or when you show these acts of kindness, you literally shift the mindset of a person. I mean, you know, when I'm walking, right, most people are like, "Hey, you see a black guy come walking down the street, man, like that," and I walk in different neighborhoods and stuff, you know, and I say hello. I mean, we used to always say hello, right? You say hello to somebody, people are grumpy, but when you say hello to somebody, it prompts them to change their mindset about whether they're going to say hello to you.
Oh yeah, well, and that's what I used to love about going down to your family down in Plymouth. More so in Plymouth. Charlotte does the same thing, but Plymouth, they really do it. Man, you drive past Plymouth, hey, you can't walk anywhere. They waving at you and stuff, right? Like you know them? No, I don't know that person. It's, you know, but they were just so kind to wave, and it changes the way things are when people are like that. So like the random act of kindness, it's going to be great because one of the things that in this challenge, so let's talk a little bit about it. In this challenge, we want to hear from people what they've done in the random. Once we get into February, we're going to want to hear from you about practicing. What are some things that you did as an act of kindness. You know, I believe that. You know, I remember going to prayer, right? And I would go to Monday night prayer, and we would be there for an hour, and we would just pray, right? And then one Monday night, you know, we finished prayer, and I was trying to make it over to CVS before it closed. Mm-hmm. Right? So I jump in CVS, and I see this guy that I'm, you know, familiar with, and he's like, you know, he's in pain, and he's walking around in the store, and you can see he's in a lot of pain. And I said, "What's the matter?" He goes, sis, I got such and such, whatever he said he was. And he goes, I need you to pray for me. Now, I had been praying for hours. So I was like, all right, I'll pray for you. See you later. I'm trying to leave. And I got in my car. Something happened when I got in my car. I don't know. Something happened. And I don't know if my car, something was crazy. And I got in the car and I said, Lord, I should have prayed for him right there on the spot. But I was so into me, trying to get home.
Well, she mentioned in the beginning,
try
right?
to do what I wanted to do. And I had just come from prayer. How many people just come from church and drive by the homeless man? Right? How many people do that, right? And so here I was in the car, and the Lord convicted me. And he said, go back and see if you can find him. Right? And I went back, and he had gone out the store, and he came back because he forgot something. And I met him at the entrance of the store. And I said, I'm going to pray for you right now. Right then and there, I stopped what I was doing, and I began to pray for him. And he was like, thank you so much. Thank you so much. But sometimes, we can get caught up into what we've got going on. And so a random act of kindness could easily be, pray for somebody who's in need of prayer now. Don't put it off. Don't walk away from them, but pray in the moment. Somebody, I don't care if you're in the mall, I don't care if you're on the bus, I don't care if you're on the train, I don't care if you're walking down the street. If somebody's in need of prayer, stop what you're doing and pray. Because praying is free.
That's right.
Right? You talking about money. Now, when I used to give money, and if people came up to me on the street and I didn't have a card like you, and somebody asked me for money, they got my money with a prayer. Hold on for a second. I would this money is anointed. This money is this, and I would pray over the money, and as I put it in the hand, I would pray over them, and I was like, we gonna pray. If you gonna get my money, you gonna get my prayers. If you don't want my money, if you don't want my prayers, you don't want my money. So that's how a lot of times I was able to sow into people's lives by praying for them when they needed that money.
Yeah, and let's quickly, I want to go over there to the fruit of the Spirit.
Ooh, the fruit of the Spirit.
Yeah, the fruit.
One fruit.
Right, the fruit
with the many
Spirit,
different
right? It says, but the fruit of the Spirit is love. Now, remember, the fruit is love. It's only talking about one thing. It's talking about love. And then the attributes or the manifestation of that love produces joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faith, gentleness, self-control. And it says, against such, there is no law. There's no law for love. Right? And so what happens is that when you show love, out of love comes joy. Because sometimes, if you go back to that one more time, sometimes people need joy. They just unhappy. And when you come, like you were just talking about it, right? You and Thais, when she comes in that, man, some people don't want it. They don't know what it is to experience joy every day. Right? So here you come being joyful. Right? And sometimes you come into a place where there needs to be some peace there. Right? So love is not confusion. So you manifest peace. Right? And then you come in where everybody's going helter-skelter and you show patience. So you start to manifest these things. So when you're doing these acts of kindness, when you showing love and manifesting love, right? It's going to just change the frequency, change the vibration, change an environment when you show love. It is so powerful.
There's a lady in that comes to Emmanuel. Her name is Barbara Brown, right? Her sister Debbie and Barbara Brown. But one of the things that, since Sister Barbara comes into church, I cannot tell you how many times that she'll see that there's a need. And she'll show up to our house with Uncle Sonny that she bring us food. She is a walking love monster. Man, she just loves on everybody. And you know what? Sometimes when people when people love like that or they give like that in love, sometimes it's hard for them to receive. Right? And I get that because I'm a giver, right? I'm a giver and I love to give in love. I love to do it just because I love people and I love to be able to be a blessing to people. So but sometimes it's hard for me to receive. And so Sister Barbara has made me receive. She forces me to receive
because she just stops
happened.
by.
She shows up. I preach a sermon. Next thing I know, she has a dozen roses or something. I'm like, she just is.
Yeah, she's a giver.
I mean, I've not met too many people that just love the way she loves, and so I'm grateful that she's in my life because she kind of pushes me to that place. And those of us who are on the prayer call, she's on our prayer call in the morning and she gets really excited, but those folks at the prayer call haven't experienced the true manifestation of love that this woman exudes whenever she does anything.
Yeah. And then here we'll show you a couple of things here real quick on acts of kindness, right? And you see that as 25 random acts of kindness ideas, right? I mean, you want, I don't think we can blow that up, but it says.
Oh, for you, yes, I can.
Oh, there you go. It says, give a stranger a gift, open a door for someone, bring a blanket to the homeless shelter, put out neighbors' trash.
Ooh.
Write thank you notes to teachers. Volunteer. Bring some food to someone. Compliment a stranger. Mow a neighbor's yard. Give a snack to the mail carrier. Right? Visit the nursing home. Send a care package to deployed soldiers. Donate to your favorite charity, right? Call a relatives, all these things I was talking about earlier, right? Say hello, say hello to a stranger, help with chores, donate books to the library, donate toys. I'm not going to say old toys. Donate new toys, right? Don't donate the old toys. Donate outgrown clothes. Yeah, we got a lot of them. Pick up litter. Let's go babysit. Those are 25 random acts of kindness ideas. We got a couple more over there, Patrice. Is another
in
one.
Another one?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, let's see what we got.
Hopefully this is helpful. And if you've had, we're coming to a close here, but if you've had done some acts of kindness, I don't know, quotable that day, acts of kindness, right? Blow that up for me, right? There's some other right there, acts of kindness right there. It's all similar. Ask someone about their day. These are simple things. Offer your hand in friendship. Hold the door for somebody. Check on friends that are sad. I mean, if throughout the month, we're hoping that throughout the month of, even right now, we're starting tonight, right? And some of us already started. We're hoping that it will become habitual. It will become a habit, right? That these things will not just be done because the challenge, but after the challenge is over, that it becomes a part of our life, right? And it becomes a part of our lifestyle. That our lifestyle will be about love.
Yes.
Right. And so I think there's one more down there. Right. I don't know if that's similar. Right. There's some similar things. I think we had one for kids. Was there one for kids? Because kids can get involved with this as well. Mm-hmm. Right. It's not just for adults, but I thought, I must have left the kids one off. But there's things that kids can do similar to what you've done, what you could do. Yeah. I experienced Sister Brown through the prayer line in person. She is genuine through and through. Yeah, I mean, awesome, man. So But
so,
yeah.
So I want to just say, because I was just looking at something, and I think it's important to know. You know, when we do these acts of kindness, right? So there's a couple of things because we're asking you to do it as part of a challenge. That's the reason why we really want to bring it forth, you know. But technically, when you do things and you show love, you don't necessarily. It's not for you to brag. It's not for us to brag about it. It's just to kind of show the love so that it becomes contagious, right? But the Bible tells us and I'm going to read the scripture. I was going to put it up, but in Colossians 3, this is our son's favorite scripture. It says, "And whatsoever you do, do it heartily as unto the Lord and not unto men, knowing that of the Lord you shall receive the reward of the inheritance, for you serve the Lord Jesus Christ." So here's the thing. When you do it, you know, you're not doing something so that you can get something back.
Right.
Right? These acts of kindness are not so you can have acts of kindness, you know, like, oh, well, I held the door for you. You could have said thank you. I did this for you. You could have done this. That's what happens sometimes, is that when we do these acts of kindness, I want us to understand that these random acts of kindness or this kindness challenges has nothing to do with you getting something back. It has nothing to do with, a person might not even say thank you. If they say thank you, then you got cherry on top of your acts of kindness. That's not the point. The point is for you to do it anyway. If you never see that person again, you know, you want to be able to be a blessing to that person, and then God's going to reward you. This is let me tell you what I believe. I believe strongly. This is what I believe, and I've shared this on our prayer call. There have been times that we've been able to sow into or bless somebody else randomly, right? Just out of random act of kindness, just show love, right? And then next thing you know, our kids are somewhere in another state, somewhere, another country even. And that same act of kindness actually becomes reciprocated at that point. Going back to Sister Brown, right? Sister Brown, again, a wonderful, loving person. Our girls were out in Jamaica and their flight got canceled, coming back home, right? Sister Brown was an hour and a half away. She said, I'm going to jump in my car. I'm going to have a driver come and bring the girls to us, and they can stay overnight with us, and I'll take care of them and make sure they get back. You know, because we've been kind and also shown love, you know, it gets reciprocated in ways that, you know, my girlfriend Brenda, she's down in Florida right now with her friend, right? Losie's going to Florida, and she was 2 hours away, and he has an 11-minute show. She and her friend want to drive 2.5 hours for an 11-minute show just to show act of kindness for our son. See, that's what I'm talking about. So it's not like we planned for it. It's just that if you show love to somebody, somewhere along the line, they're going to show love to you. Lowe's and I, we've had so much connections with people, so many people that we've loved on, that we've done things that we've just wanted to be a blessing for. We literally can send our kid anywhere, our children anywhere in the country, and somebody we know is there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, love works, right? But it starts with each one of us. When we're just making you aware of the power of love. We're just making, we can complain all day. We should stop violence. We should stop this. People should stop talking about each other. People should stop being jealous, right? Well, it starts with us. We have to stop being jealous, right? We have to stop talking about other people, and we have to learn to love people, right?
I look at your cousin Van on here, Van Jackson, right? Her labor of love, because some things are a labor of love, right? She has that prayer call every day, Monday through Friday. Christmas, New Year's, she's on that call. It's a labor of love that she brings to people to come together. That's love, right? And then on Tuesdays, she goes and does a food pantry, right? Love.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what the Bible tells us to do. If the people are hungry, we're supposed to feed them. If they don't have any clothes, we're supposed to clothe them. If they're in prison, we're supposed to visit them. If they're sick and shut in, same thing. So that's love. So we've got to show that. I love Revolution. When we listen to what Joyce Meyer says, she is all about love. She is all about, continuously doing things. She never stops doing things. And so I'm grateful for the love revolution that she started. I wanted to talk about, remember the book, there was another one, Lowe's. It was The Love Dare. The Love Dare.
Well,
so The Love Dare was a book through the movie Fireproof. Remember The Love Dare? And in The Love Dare, in this book, if you've never seen the movie Fireproof, it's Fireproof Your Marriage, right? And in this particular movie, the husband and wife are arguing. They're not going in the right direction, and they do a love dare, and they have to do. And the one spouse is doing something, an act of kindness to the other spouse for, I believe it was 40 days.
40 days.
It was for 40 days. And even though there was so much anger and animosity, man, that love dare caused them to cross over, so that they would learn how to love each other differently. Man, love can change. The Bible says love covers a multitude of sins.
Yeah, and I think the month of February, since we see it as the month of love, particularly around Valentine's Day, it's going to be a combination of what we're talking about in terms of love and random acts of kindness. And we're also going to throw in there, around relationships. Since it's the love month, it's about relationship. And I think one of the major relationships that we need to, if we want to be better at showing and manifesting love, one of the things I could honestly say is that we have to spend more time if we want to be good at love. We have to spend more time. We got to find time, make time to spend time with God. Because the more that you become intimate with God, right? Then he, in that intimacy, in that co-laboring relationship, he changes you, right? So together you can produce these acts of kindness.
Well, I'm going to close out also in my comments as I'm thinking about Michelle and Dakari, right? Our daughter and son-in-law. They started a 31-day prayer challenge in the month of January. And every morning they get up and they pray together. And you can see the manifestation of the prayer and the love, that they have for one another. And so I'm proud of them, as they continue to strengthen their marriage, but they did a prayer challenge. So, these challenges, when there's positivity connected to the challenges, you're going to only reap positive things out of it. So thank you for the love challenge. And so we're looking forward to seeing the things that you are all going to be doing in your love. This is something that I want you to do differently. If you're already doing it, it's not part of the challenge. You understand what I'm saying? So if you're already doing something, do something different as opposed to that, because you're already in it. So do something just a little different in the love challenge for the month. That's because that's the challenging part. Stretch. Right. Stretch beyond what you normally do. Stretch, and so in your stretching is your blessing.
Yes. And then, like the Daniel fast or any fast that you may be doing to start off the new year, the hope is that at the end of the Daniel fast, right, is that you change, you created new habits. You've changed something, you've got away from something that you wanted to get away from, right? You wanted to be different at the end of it. You wanted to be a part of your lifestyle. Well, we want at the end of February, right, we want love to be an everyday current event for you. So again, thank you. Thank you for joining us this evening. As we start in the month of February, you can start now this 29 days love challenge. Next week, I have Sandy Gregory. 42 years. She from the inception of the Seattle Seahawks to the 42 years she worked for the Seattle Seahawks. And Sandy's amazing. You might not know this. I'll tell you a little bit about why Sandy is on there, because Sandy worked for USC back in the day, and somebody said, I got a freshman coming in to USC and I want you to make sure you take care of him. And Sandy became really good friends with Gus Williams from USC to the Seattle Supersonics, right, to the Seattle Seahawks, right. Right now, you seen on her little flyer there, it says the Sonics Legend Fund. There was a player by the name of Slick Watts who played with the Seattle Supersonics back in the day. Slick Watts had a stroke. The Sonics Legends Foundation, led by Sandy, provides all his help, all the things necessary for Slick Watts. And also, she assists in the rehab and development as Gus is trying to get well as well. So he went all the way from college knowing Gus Williams all the way to helping Gus Williams now in his moment of sickness.
So I would say she's part of the
Love Revolution.
Love Revolution.
Yeah. So I look forward to seeing you next week as we talk to Sandy. And I say, as I say each and every week, thank you. Thank you for your support of the Blueprint Podcast. Thank you again to Philip Reed. Now that we're streaming on his network, which has Roku and also the Fire Stick. And I say each and every week, if God allows you to wake up tomorrow, make tomorrow your masterpiece and show love.
Before we close out, I'm going to show a little bit of Love Revolution.
Yes.
And then we're going to close out with our outro. Okay? So again, thank you, everybody. We just wanted to see a few more of what Joyce Meyer did with the Love Revolution. I love you. And as my pastor says, and as Sister Priscilla Russell says, I love you. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
God bless you.
So God put something in my heart. What we need is a love revolution. We need people that are passionate about what God is passionate about. And that's loving people on the job, loving people in the neighborhood, loving people in your home, loving the lost, loving the poor, loving the needy, loving people enough to put your money where your mouth is, and put your time where your mouth is, and put some of your effort where your mouth is, and stop just sitting home and complaining because of all of our little petty inconveniences, and start doing what the Bible tells us to do. See, the thing that we got to get across to people is this just needs to be the way you live. It's not a big deal. You don't need a 4-week prayer meeting. You don't need a special seminar, a book. You just need to do what Jesus did. He got up every day, took the anointing of God, and went about doing good and healing all that were oppressed of the devil. Come on, give God a shout. Actively loving people and aggressively reaching out to them and doing it on purpose has become very, very important to my everyday life. My everyday life. I believe every day of our life that we should on purpose reach out to somebody else. I want to see radical change worldwide. I want to reach people. I want to meet their needs. I want to give them hope. And I just don't think that there's anything better than putting a smile on somebody else's face. You know, so often we just pray for something to change, or we hope something will change, but we need to make a decision to be part of change. And I've decided I'm going to be part of the answer. I'm going to be part of a love revolution.
We really hope you enjoyed this episode of Lowe's More, the Blueprint Podcast. Stay connected and follow us at our website, www.lowesmore.com. That's LOWESMOORE.com. You can also join the discussion on Twitter at Lowe's More and on Facebook at Lowe's More Jr. As always, thank you for pushing your mindset towards a better reality. This concludes the most thought-provoking portion of your day. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this podcast to stay fully up to date with everything we're up to. Until next time, be kind to yourself and each other.
What they teaching is a joke. I ain't buying it like I'm broke. Insufficient funds for insignificant.